When we think about historical, world-changing battles, our minds usually jump straight to these massive, multi-day sieges, right? Or campaigns that drag on for agonizing weeks, maybe even months. We think of grueling endurance. But today, we're looking at something that absolutely shattered every preconceived notion of how modern armored warfare actually works. In this explainer, we're diving into the Battle of 73 Easting, and let me tell you, it is a masterclass in preparation, technology, and just sheer, unbelievable speed.
So, think about this for a second. What if one battle lasted only 23 minutes?
Literally, 23. Just 23 minutes. Think about what you actually get done in that amount of time. It's barely enough time to grab a coffee or sit through your morning commute, right? But in that exact same window of time, military history was completely rewritten. The reality of what went down in less than half an hour out there in the desert is, well, it's absolutely staggering. But to really grasp how this went down, we have to talk about the environment first.
The blinding sandstorm, February 26, 1991.
Okay, picture the vast, unforgiving Iraqi desert. And we're not talking about a clear, sunny day here. A massive atmospheric sandstorm had basically swallowed the entire landscape. Visibility dropped to almost zero. You've got howling winds, sand so incredibly thick that practically every military commander out there naturally assumed launching any major attack was, well, nearly impossible. It logically dictated a pause, right? Conventional wisdom says, if you can't see, you can't fight.
Advantage in the dark.
But here's where things get wild. Despite that blinding sandstorm, one American armored cavalry regiment kept pushing relentlessly forward. No pausing, no setting up camp to wait it out. They drove straight into the teeth of the storm. And the only reason they could do this, a massive technological mismatch. On one side, Iraqi forces are practically blind, completely maxed out at seeing maybe a few hundred meters. We're talking total sensory deprivation. On the flip side, U.S. forces are out there using cutting-edge GPS navigation and thermal imaging. These tools are guiding them with crystal-clear, high-tech vision right into the heart of enemy territory. So it wasn't just an army versus an army. It was really a battle of visibility.
Now, their target was simply known as 73 Easting. And it's not a city, it's not a famous landmark, it's literally just a coordinate on a tactical map. But that specific coordinate, it was hiding an absolute monster of a threat. Waiting just ahead was one of Iraq's most entrenched defensive positions. Hundreds of tanks, armored vehicles, artillery networks, and thousands upon thousands of dug-in soldiers. With those kinds of numbers, everybody expected a brutal, drawn-out bloodbath when the two sides finally clashed.
23 minutes.
Then, American M1 Abrams tanks crest that final desert ridge, and history violently shifts gears. The battle just erupts, and it happens with this unimaginable, terrifying speed. It breaks down into 3 rapid stages. First, target detection. The second those tanks crest the ridge, their thermal sights light up, spotting the hidden enemy instantly through the sandstorm while the Iraqis are still basically blind. Second, first strike. Within literal seconds, high-velocity shells are tearing across the desert, vaporizing those initial enemy tanks. And third, the relentless advance. The American crews didn't pause to regroup. They just kept hitting the gas. You've got Bradley fighting vehicles swarming infantry positions and Apache helicopters hunting from above. This relentless, non-stop momentum meant the Iraqi forces couldn't even attempt to reorganize.
You really can't overstate the pure shock and awe of this. Many of the Iraqi commanders on the ground never even realized what was hitting them until their defensive lines were completely gone. The speed of that combined assault was just overwhelming. And just like that, it was over. In roughly 23 minutes, massive columns of Iraqi armor were left destroyed or abandoned in the sand.
A new era. When the dust and, I guess, the sandstorm finally settled, the entire military landscape had shifted. American casualties were remarkably low, especially considering the massive scale of 73 Easting and the sheer number of entrenched enemies. So how did this happen so fast? Well, it definitely wasn't luck. It was 4 decisive factors locking together perfectly. First, superior training meant soldiers reacted purely on instinct. Second, advanced communication kept the entire regiment moving as one unified beast. Third, cutting-edge tech completely erased the fog of war. And finally, flawless coordination. The tanks, the Bradleys, the Apaches, they were all operating in this deadly, perfect harmony.
Those 23 minutes of absolute chaos instantly birthed a massive legacy. Experts everywhere scrambled to study what had just happened. Even today, over 30 years later,
Military academies around the globe still treat 73 Easting as the ultimate textbook example of maneuver warfare and rapid decision-making under extreme stress. It is absolutely the gold standard for how disciplined leadership and highly trained soldiers completely transform modern armored combat.
This battle proved, without a shadow of a doubt, that innovation and preparation can crush overwhelming uncertainty, even in the middle of a blinding sandstorm. Some battles drag on for weeks, but 73 Easting is a powerful reminder that sometimes 23 minutes is all it takes to change the world. Victory is so often decided long before the very first shot is fired. Because, as they say, history remembers those who were prepared. So, are you ready for your 23 minutes? Thanks for hanging out with me for this explainer, and I'll catch you in the next one.